kill a bloody kangaroo.
Just smother them to death. There's nothing native that looks anything like that.
Imagine a 200-kilogram meat-eating possum.
There could be introduced species surviving or thriving. There could be one watching us right now. I heard something. What the hell is that?
My name is Casey Anderson. As a wildlife tracker, sometimes I get a bit too close to my work. Now, I'm searching the most remote corners of the earth for creatures so big,
Boom! You're talking about a monster.
or so deadly,
We need to get out of here right now.
that they defy belief.
This is insane.
To find the truth, I need to confront these beasts face to face.
These are monster encounters. Picture a prehistoric killing machine, roaring back from extinction and suddenly loose in the modern world. It sounds like Jurassic Park, right? But it could be happening right now in Australia. Imagine a cross between a saber-toothed tiger and a razor-clawed kangaroo. For 1 million years, the largest Australian predator was Thylacoleo carnifex, or pouched lion killer. A carnivore that grabbed its victims with its powerful jaws, disemboweling them with 6-inch retractable claws. Supposedly, it went extinct 10,000 years ago. But today, hundreds of witnesses report seeing it. Photos show kangaroos and sheep mutilated beyond recognition. Kills that match no living Australian predator. That's where I come in. Wildlife experts in Australia have contacted me for my tracking skills to help them find and hopefully catch this monster. It's a 9,000-mile trek, so I'm packing my toothbrush.
I land in Melbourne, the coastal capital of the southeastern state of Victoria. After Sydney, Melbourne is the second largest city in Australia, home to 5 million people.
If you look around, you think, what are you gonna find here, Casey? Well, Australia's unique. It's this giant continent. You go outside of this and you have some of the most remote wilderness outback on the planet and some of the most unique animals that exist on Earth. It's a perfect place for a marsupial lion to live. So from here, just 10 miles out of town, I'm gonna be in the middle of nowhere.
To launch my investigation, I'm headed to the small bush town of Maryborough, where I'll meet local prospector Dennis Wright. Dennis claims he first spotted a marsupial lion while on a hunting expedition as a young man.
And ever since then, he's been collecting evidence to really validate what he saw. These thick eucalyptus forests. This is the place that any animal really could hide. I mean, this would be the place that could harbor something that impossible.
The only way I stand a chance of tracking an animal so elusive that it's been classified extinct for 10,000 years is to learn more about its habits. How does it hunt? What does it eat? When is it the most active? If I can build a behavioral pattern, I can track anything.
Oh, good, Casey.
Thanks for meeting me.
Dennis literally wrote the book on marsupial lions.
Imagine a 200-kilogram meat-eating possum.
That sounds scary.
Being related to koalas and possums, it has a hand with an opposable thumb. So it's got this grasping motion. On top of the thumb, it has a retractable dew claw, about 4 centimetres long. It sticks up like a flick knife, opens out. You can grab like that.
How big is this thing?
Well, it stands about this high. It's the big as a lion or a tiger. The bigger ones actually go a bit larger than that.
It's a big animal.
It's a big animal.
Yeah. So, Dennis, you believe that there are marsupial lions out there right now?
I think there is.
Dennis has recorded a dozen sighting reports of a mysterious cat-like beast within a 100-mile radius of his original encounter.
This was an episode that happened near here. A local farmer had a sheep completely eaten in one night. No mess about it. It was as though it had been cleaned with a boning knife.
And that's an adult sheep.
An adult sheep, completely eaten.
Wow.
We know from the smaller marsupial that these things can eat up to 40% of their body weight in a single meal.
Not a lot of animals can do that.
It'd be like you sitting down to eat 50-pound of steak or 15 roast chickens.
No, that's incredible.
From that carcass, I was able to get a couple of the bones, and they leave very distinct teeth marks.
There's almost like a slicing motion.
Yeah.
So the teeth are doing this kind of scissoring,
the scissoring motion.
slicing down the bone
Slicing,
and leaving those serrations kind of on the...
Yeah, more like bolt cutters than teeth. Dogs gnaw the bones. This thing just slices the meat off it. It's got to be some large predator. This is part of how I've become very convinced that it's definitely a marsupial. Now, apart from the fact that I did see one up really close.
So you saw one?
Yeah, there are still reported sightings, but forest and bush around here are so thick, it's very hard to find them.
We drive out of town and head 40 miles deeper into the interior. This rugged area is where Dennis experienced his first sighting.
It's really coming to life there now, isn't it?
It is. As the sun goes down, the whole place becomes alive.
A lot of prey species here are nocturnal, as are the predators, dingoes, foxes, and if they actually survived, marsupial lions. Most reported sightings of the marsupial lion take place after dark, or in Dennis's case, very early in the morning.
Well, it was actually dawn. I heard a commotion from dogs at a farmhouse way off in the distance. So I looked across and I saw this thing going along the fence that the dogs had obviously sensed. And so I followed it.
It's going like this and we're just basically closing the gap.
So we're converging. And it just kept walking and I kept walking. It stopped and looked at me. I picked up the rifle and I looked through the scope. The crosshairs right between the eyes, and I was blown away. What the hell is this? The face was more like a kangaroo or a possum than it was like a cat. I'd never seen one of these before, and I spent a lot of time in the bush. But to get a bit closer and have a better look, I had to pass behind a tree, and in that brief second like that, it was gone, disappeared.
This place looks like an ideal hunting ground for a predator.
It's the right place. I think it's the right time for a marsupial lion to come out. It's a perfect night just to listen. If something's moving around, we're gonna hear it. It's really starting to cool off, too. You know, this cold temperature is gonna work to our advantage because I've got this thermal camera, so it
Brilliant.
see body heat, and it works really well when there's a lot of contrast. So that if anything, any mammal is anywhere near us, we'll be able to see it's just gonna glow.
Great.
And I'm not just looking at ground level. I have to look up because marsupial lions often hunt it from the trees.
They really believe.
They can't be seen.
Yeah, and that confidence of a predator at night is unbelievable. Where do you think we should go?
Yeah, there's some habitat-type trees down here, and we can have a look at those.
All right, let's go.
If you're thinking there's no way an extinct animal could make a comeback, then come to Australia, where vanished species like the eastern quoll, the prehistoric coelacanth fish, and the night parrot are all alive and well. But if the marsupial lion really is out there, why have no recent remains been found? Dennis has a theory.
This tree here is an ideal example of why I think we can never find them in the fossil record. There's plenty of room in there for a thylacoleo to live.
So you think This could have been its home.
That's right. It's only because this part's fallen off that we can actually see how much space is inside that tree. Should they die in their den and a bushfire came through, that would turn into a blast furnace. There's not going to be anything left, just ash.
Wow. You know, people go to the museums and they see the bones all put together, but they don't realize that we're only finding just the tiniest bit of them. And it takes that perfect storm to preserve a fossil. Why would we find them?
That's right.
Hey, Dennis, stop. Right in front of you. Got a hot spot right down there. It's moving, but not much. Just a little heat signature, and it like ducked down and went down the side. We as humans, you know, we're used to identifying things with sight and color, and well, now we don't have that ability. We just have the ability to see heat. But if you know how they move, you can tell exactly what it is. But yeah, we gotta look for that very specific movement. Hear that? Someone over there.
Oh, what is that?
Yeah, I got a heat signature right here. See it there? What is that?
I'm in southeastern Australia, investigating a marsupial lion sighting. With eyewitness Dennis Wright.
Hear that? Someone over there.
We catch a glimpse of movement on my thermal imaging camera.
Yeah, I got a heat signature right here. See it there? What is that?
That's a possum.
A possum.
A whole lot smaller than the one we were hoping to find, but we can walk around all day and not see them. And the marsupial lion's the same. You will not see it in the daytime.
Just to be out here in the middle of the night and actually to see a marsupial anything like this possum, it's just so cool. It's really gotten quiet.
Yes, I think they'll be going to bed and it's time for us to go home and have some breakfast.
A good idea. Let's go.
Sunrise signals that any prowling night stalkers are now headed to bed. Dennis will continue searching his neck of the outback, while I head 200 miles south toward the Otways mountain range to investigate an unusual new lead.
Here in Southern Victoria, there have been hundreds of marsupial lion sightings. And there's one woman in particular named Sarah Alsop, who has been cataloging every single sighting, researching it, trying to find if this animal is real. If I'm gonna find out more about this animal in this region, this is a woman I need to talk to. Sarah.
Hi, Casey.
Good to meet you.
Likewise.
I must say, the whole ride in here, I just kept looking out the window going, this is a place something could live and hide and no one would ever know it.
Exactly.
And if people had a lot of sightings in this area?
Yeah, I've had quite a few. I had one November last year.
In November?
Yep, and that wasn't that far away from here if you'd like to go check it out.
I definitely want to go check it out.
We drive to Great Otway National Park, home to a temperate rainforest with a high concentration of prey species, including kangaroos.
And there's just so much thick underbrush. And then if you have a super elusive animal,
Plenty of stuff for them to hide in.
how many sightings in this area would you say that you heard about?
I've documented about 200.
That's a lot.
There's definitely something out here. What's out here is what we're trying to figure out.
So your recent sighting was right around this area?
Yeah, it was. So I'd pulled off because my car had overheated. I had to wait a couple of hours, you know, for the radiator to cool down before I could take the cap off and put some more water in it. So I make the most of every moment. So I thought I'd play some vocalizations into the Bluetooth speaker that was up on my bonnet.
Of course, that's what everybody would do.
Like most of us, predators will take the easiest meal they can find. So playing these vocalizations of wounded prey animals is an effective way to ring the dinner bell and draw the killer in.
So what kind of vocalizations were you playing?
Deer, fox, rabbit. And that's when I got the reply.
So how far away from where you were?
Probably about 50 metres. It sounded like it was just off into the bushes.
And that's right there, that far away. Wow.
Yep.
What happened next?
Put the water in the car and took off down the road. And then as I've just come around the bend, I've seen a big, long, sandy-coloured tail disappear off the road. It was probably about at least this long. This one actually went to a tuft.
Like an African lion?
Yep.
You think he was watching you?
Possibly. I reckon they see us a lot more than we see them.
There could be one watching us right now.
Sarah describes a thin, tufted tail disappearing into the brush, similar to the tail of an African lion. Diocaleo carnifex had a thick, muscular tail that it used for balance while attacking on two legs, much like its relative, the kangaroo. And marsupial lions aren't felines at all. In fact, Australia doesn't have any native species of big cat. So what exactly does Sarah see? She isn't relying solely on memory to find out.
So we've got one camera's just there,
Okay.
and there's another one just over there.
She set up a series of trail cams along the route of her encounter to try and capture the prehistoric killer on video. I'm excited to see what, if anything, turns up.
So Sarah, what is this?
So this is a lamb offcut to entice something in that I'm after to get on the camera.
It's a good idea. If a marsupial lion smelled this, could reach up and grab that with that thumb, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's keeping it away from all the things that's going to come and get the baits.
Sarah's smart to hoist the bait high. The animal we're looking for would have dragged its kills up into the trees, laying them over the branches to avoid attracting scavengers.
So we'll have a look and see what images we've got.
Oh. See that? What was that? I see an ear.
There's a head. It's a fox. Here we go.
Well, we got something. It's better than nothing.
Yeah, that's it.
Sarah and I check a few more trail cams and scour the forest looking for signs of a marsupial lion.
At least your lure was working.
After investigating Dennis and Sarah's accounts of their sightings, I'm convinced that they saw something. There is an animal out here, stalking and killing in ways totally different from any known species on the continent. But is that super predator a marsupial lion? I'm not so sure. Could the entire recent fossil record really have been wiped out by fires and tree hollows, as Dennis believes? I don't think so.
I'm starting to think that there might be more to this story, another explanation. So today I'm going to go back to Melbourne and meet with Dr. David Waldron. He's a professor of local cultural legends and stories, and he says that he has explanations to what this thing really could be.
Dr. Waldron has dedicated decades to unraveling the mysteries of Australia's natural and cultural history. He has a controversial theory that might just explain the hundreds of marsupial lion sightings across the country.
Dr. Waldron.
G'day, Casey. How are you?
Good. Thanks for meeting me. So as you know, I'm here in Australia looking for marsupial lions, but you believe that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I do, Casey, and I'll tell you why. We don't really have any recent bodies of Diocaleo carnifex.
But you believe there might be something else.
Yeah, With the Second World War, we have people coming back from overseas bringing introduced species, and they're bringing all kinds of crazy animals. One troop ship had over 1,650 exotic animals on board.
What? Wow.
I can show you some images here of servicemen with big cats.
You got leopards, you got an ocelot, so a little everything. So what you're saying is, while there may not be marsupial lions, there could be introduced species that are surviving or thriving.
I think that's a far more plausible argument than an extinct large predator. You have in the gold rush, people, of course, came here in large numbers. In the 19th century, there was a thriving exotic animal trade.
During the 1850s gold rush, prospectors from around the world flocked to Australia, and boom towns sprang up throughout gold country. To entertain the miners, the towns brought in saloons, brothels, and even circuses. And with circuses came imported big cats. Pumas, jaguars, leopards, and lions. Dr. Waldron believes that when the gold ran out, the prospectors left, and those big cats escaped into the wild. But were these non-native species able to survive?
So the question is really, is there a breeding population?
I made the 9,000-mile journey from Montana to Australia in search of the allegedly extinct marsupial lion. But a new theory proposed by Dr. David Waldron suggests that what I should be looking for is a completely different apex predator, a large feline hybrid descendant from imported circus animals.
So the question is really, is there a breeding population?
Yeah, and Australia could harbor a big cat. I mean, prey species, places for an elusive cat to hide.
You know, something like a puma I could see as being plausible because it's a naturally stealthy animal.
Yeah, they're super elusive. You know, they can live from the top of a mountain to the jungles to the deserts. They'd be like a big cat cockroach.
Yeah, indeed.
They'd thrive here. They'd love it.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go look around, do some tracking.
Well, good luck, and I hope you're successful.
Thanks, man.
Cheers, thank you.
Thanks. So I came here looking for marsupial lions, but after talking to Dr. Waldron, I think the animal that I'm looking for is a non-native feral big cat. And this is a place that a big cat could live and thrive,
It had a big, long, sandy-coloured tufted tail.
like an African lion.
Yeah.
Members of the genus Panthera can mate with each other, creating hybridized offspring, some of which could keep crossbreeding and evolving. So now, instead of searching for a marsupial, I'm gonna do something I'm actually more familiar with: tracking a big cat. And for that, I'm gonna need a few things from the city.
Melbourne, Australia is home to the Queen Victoria Market, the largest market in the Southern Hemisphere. And when it comes to tracking a big cat, I got some tricks up my sleeve, and I gotta get some supplies, and this is gonna be the place where I can find them.
This is kangaroo salami, not much fat.
Wow, that's really
It's
good.
really good meat.
I need lemongrass, wheatgrass, a nice pungent catnip. Right here. Well, that is good. Is this the biggest kangaroo that they have around here?
Yes, it is.
Ooh, I like that.
Now that I've got the goods, I'm headed to the town of Forest to partner up with Kevin Broughton. He leads the Victorian Big Cat Research Group and claims to have seen a mysterious cat-like creature multiple times.
I brought things that might seem a little strange to you, but these are things that are successful when it comes to pulling a big cat out of the thick bush.
Okay. I've got something that might be able to help us out as well.
Let's see it.
Kevin's been working on a promising prototype for drawing big cats out of hiding.
We've designed here an eastern grey kangaroo, which you'll find out here in the Otways.
But she ain't real pretty because she ain't got a head. So how does this thing work?
Basically, all it will do is just swivel its head to one side and then straight back again to the centre. Just enough to hopefully lure a big cat out into the open.
It's great. So first things first, I'm gonna make her a redhead.
Ah, okay.
It looks like it's almost a perfect fit.
It does, yeah.
So then this thing is coming to life quick. Looking a little more like a real kangaroo here, right? So if we give her something to eat.
What have you got in there?
Kangaroo salami. Oh, that.
Wow.
That's gonna be a little intriguing. And we've got wheatgrass. I've got lemongrass. But the key here is a really stinky catmint.
These 3 plants make up what we know as catnip. That's right, the same substance that can make your house cat pounce on a toy for 3 hours straight can also mesmerize a jaguar. The ingredients include a volatile oil called nepetalactone, which binds with a feline's strong sense of smell and makes them boundlessly frisky. Zoologists have tested these herbs on big cats, and it has the same effect.
I've had success with audible sounds of like rabbit distress and stuff like that, mainly with foxes. So we've got vocalizations installed in the kangaroo. It's basically a Bluetooth speaker.
Excuse you, excuse you, excuse you. Here's Bort. You hear that sound, animal in distress? They just can't resist it.
Yeah, yeah.
If anybody has a chance of drawing a cat out of the bush, it's
I
us
think
right
so,
now.
Yeah.
She keeps looking at me.
She does. She's got eyes for you. A lot of sightings have occurred along here.
I feel like we just drove back in time here.
Kevin's tracked a cluster of sightings along the northern edge of the Otways, within 12 miles of Sarah's encounters. A big cat can have a range of up to 50 square miles, which means it's possible that all these eyewitnesses are actually seeing the same animal. We hope our kangaroo will attract some famished felines.
Come here, little lady. Wow, it literally went from daylight to dark.
Darkness as soon as you get into the canopy, though. What about down here, where there's like a bit of access to the water? If I was a roo, this is where I'd be coming to drink. Somebody can sneak along through all that scrub there without being seen.
Coming down that way.
Nice little corridor.
Coming down that way.
Yep.
Yeah, the canopy's closed there, so that'll really funnel the sound.
Yep.
We should grab the rest of our stuff and...
And get her started.
Yeah. Catnip concoction here. Make a little garden.
Kangaroo sausage.
Put it down underneath of her. I don't want it to be too overwhelming over the amazing catnip.
It's nice knowing you, buddy.
We'll broadcast distress calls in 5-minute intervals, while observing from a pop-up blind a safe distance away. Big cats are ambush predators who silently observe prey with their keen eyesight, waiting for that perfect moment to pounce. We don't want to get between it and its kill.
That fern just moved really sharp, like something ran into it. Wait, what the hell is that?
I'm on a stakeout in the woods of southern Australia with big cat tracker Kevin Broughton. We set up a decoy in hopes of drawing in an elusive predator.
I saw that fern just move really sharp, like something ran into it. Wait, what the hell is that? Let's go look.
I've been thinking if something's over the other side of that bank there, they could have been sitting there watching us all that time, and we wouldn't have even known about it. So whereabouts is this fern that you saw move?
It's one of these tall ones right here. I mean, this would be right on a path
Yeah.
if something did end up sneaking up towards her. Let's go look.
Perhaps, yeah.
But look at how the leaves are pushed in there. And why would that be pushed in like that?
Yeah, that's a bit strange, isn't it?
It's a lot strange. There's something crossed right there.
The way the grass is trampled just across the stream, and then again within striking distance of the decoy, tells me that we were able to coax a large predator out of hiding. But something must have spooked it. It's almost sunup. After our all-night hunt, Kevin and I are both exhausted.
The pursuit continues, and we're getting closer.
I've left Kevin with the cameras to continue monitoring this area, but Dr. Walden's theory has given me an entirely new clue to follow. So far, I've focused my investigations in southern Australia, but I pinpointed an area 500 miles to the northeast, where several circuses released big cats into the wild when the gold rush petered out. And I've discovered it's also home to dozens of reported encounters with unidentified cat-like creatures.
The Blue Mountains of Australia really do remind me of back home. You got these rolling hills, these rocky outcroppings, this kind of mixed timber, plenty of prey species around.
I've arranged to meet with investigators who have more than 40 big cat sightings among them.
So taking my knowledge and mixing it with their knowledge here in the bush, I really think that this might be the best chance I've had yet of finding one of these big cats. Hey guys,
How you going?
I'm Casey.
Casey, I'm Jeff. How you
Jeff,
going?
good to meet you.
I'm Mike.
Good to meet you.
Jeff, Mike, and I head 15 miles towards the spot deep in the forest.
We're meeting up with their buddy Gary in the area where they have concentrated their ongoing search.
I found brood carcasses that have been licked clean. I found skins up here that look like they've been defleshed, ready for tanning. And all the goat carcasses I find still have their hooves inside the skin.
These guys all share an absolute belief that non-indigenous wild felines are stalking these very woods right now.
Hey, fellas.
Hey,
Welcome to camp.
I'm Casey.
Gary?
Good to meet you, Gary. How many days in the bush you guys think you spend?
Probably up to 2 months of the year.
Yeah? You come out here to try to prove what you already know.
Yes.
I know they're here, but knowing and getting something is two different things.
I've got 5 minutes of footage of a big black cat that I filmed back in 2005. I'll run that for you and you give me your opinion on what you think
I'd love to see it.
If Gary's footage really does show the first ever non-native feline hybrid species in Australia's history, that would be a huge scientific discovery, one that could fuel decades of research.
Watch this.
Wow. That's a big, black, wild cat.
I'm in the Blue Mountains of eastern Australia, looking for evidence of a non-native big cat population.
Watch this.
Wow.
And I may have just found it.
That's a big, black, wild cat. So I jumped up on a stump and, wow.
Looking around for the roos. The roos were over here.
So it's hunting kangaroos here.
The footage is poor quality, and without a lot of background elements, it's hard to determine the scale of the animal in the video.
No matter what this is a cat that's not native to Australia. I mean, this is
100%.
Yeah, not supposed to be here. And there's nothing native that looks anything like that animal right there.
Non-native species have devastated Australia in the past. A population of just 24 rabbits introduced in the 1800s exploded into the millions, nearly destroying the continent's ecology. To control the surge, the government built a 1,000-mile rabbit-proof barrier, the longest fence in the world. Now, big cats don't breed quite as fast as bunnies. But as their numbers increase, so do the odds of deadly encounters with prey and humans.
Good to go.
And that's why it's essential to get proof of their existence. The team has been staking out these eucalyptus forests for a decade and have become creative in their attempts to trap an elusive predator.
Is that a good spot, huh?
Tonight, we're using a new humane steel trap to capture this animal alive and prove to the world that it exists on the continent.
I'm pretty impressed with this trap. This looks like you put a lot of thought into it.
The actual steel is welded mesh fencing, which is quite strong.
So you put the bait on a hook and there's a pull.
It's very hard to get out of there once you're trapped in there.
Watch your head there. We have to create this like forced entry to go in there. If we can go around the side and see it. So what we should do is put it there and actually put some branches and stuff up against the side. So it has to go in there.
If we're smart and lucky, we could be turning over a huge find to Wildlife Services in the morning.
Let's give her a test, Gary. Wow.
Nice. Nothing's coming out.
Great work. I think this might be perfect if we get the right bait in there.
What do you think?
What is it?
Goat's legs. Can you use them?
Oh yeah, we'll use them, definitely. So we can wire it to that hook so it even has a little movement like this. Have you get back and have you hand it to me. Thank you. Well guys, we've got everything. We gotta get out of here.
Now, we need to clear out and let the trap do its job. This area has thick pockets of low scrub where a big predator can lie in wait, scanning with its sharp night vision for prey. Now, I don't have night vision, but I do have the next best thing. A thermal drone that could capture an animal's heat signature from the sky.
You ready for takeoff? I'm gonna get above this place and give it a good look.
All right.
It's so cold tonight that anything hot out here, from that view up there, you can see just about anything. So I'm figuring if I fly that thing up the river, there's no trees, obviously, and all the animals are gonna be coming down to the water, including the big cats. So if I just fly up the river and... What's that? What's that right there? I'm definitely seeing little bits of heat in that direction over there. We should just go over there and check it out. Okay?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
What was that noise?
Watch out. Just up here, look.
The heck is that?
Something's killed a bloody kangaroo.
Deep in the forest of Australia's Blue Mountains, we just found proof that a deadly predator has been hunting in this very spot.
Watch out, just up here, look.
The heck is that?
Something's killed a bloody kangaroo. But no one shoots the kangaroos or nothing up here, so it wouldn't have been shot and just left here. I'm looking for any kind of bite marks or something around the head that might indicate like a crushed.
I mean, maybe here, back of the skull, usually you can see where they've either, you can bite the back of the neck, crush the skull here. The other way that I see quite often is they'll bite them right on the nose like this. Basically just smother them to death.
The mysterious noise, along with the kangaroo carcass, strongly indicates that there's something big out here, and it could be watching us.
So whatever made that noise probably went away.
At dawn, we check our trap.
Nothing triggered this thing.
Empty.
Empty, empty. I've taught you a few little tricks. I really believe that you should just hold your ground on this. So play the patience game here, the long game. Keep it here, keep the strategy, maybe change it up a little bit, but don't move this thing. Let it become part of the landscape. And then, sure enough, if you guys catch one, you better call me.
Certainly will.
As I leave this area, I'm really wishing I had that one piece of evidence that would make this 100%. But I do know that this really is prime big cat country.
I personally don't believe marsupial lions have come back from extinction. But the video and photo evidence, scores of eyewitness accounts, and the results of my own investigations have convinced me there could be large feline predators out here. And for better or worse, that's a development that would forever change what we know about Australia's natural history.
One day, it'll step out of the shadows for the world to see, and we'll all know that it's real.